Hello, it's Cinnamon McCann from the Stiletto series. It is Sunday morning in the nation's capital, and I'm in full-fledged Sunday morning mode. Got my tea, I'm relaxing, doing a little reading, but I thought, wouldn't it be very productive if I threw out a couple videos on YouTube? Alright, so I want to do this video that discuss why bookstores don't like self-published books. Okay, so I got my notes. I have my notes. Sorry, sometimes I'm like that. I have my notes on the computer, so I'm going to be going back and forth with you in the computer. I hope you're fine with that. So let's get started. First reason why bookstores don't like self-published books is the tendency for self-published books to have very low sales volume. There's a bunch of reports out there that say self-published authors or books rather sell about 300 copies. Now, if you're a self-published author and you're only selling 300 copies, then there's a variety of things wrong with that, not just that bookstores don't want you. So we'll get into that probably when we discuss book marketing. However, that's kind of what self-published books are stereotyped of being, low book sales. And for a bookstore to be able to pay salaries, overhead, utilities, all this for these brick and mortar stores, they need some books that's going to leave. They need a way to make profit and be able to pay for everything. So books that tendency to have low book sales, they're not really a fan. So, but you're not average, so there's some way in marketing that you definitely want to pursue, and we'll get into that a little later. But that's one of the reasons why bookstores don't like self-published books. One of the second reason is there's an unacceptable wholesale discount. Now, what is wholesale? Basically, for those of you who have not written a book yet and you don't really know how the pricing and things works, let me drop a little knowledge on you. What a wholesale price is, if your book is $20, your retail price, when you give your book to a bookstore, they expect a 55% discount. They expect that discount because they make their money off of the spread. So in addition to it being that, they also want it to be returnable. So when you're using a lot of these online publishing companies, the price per book, the unit cost, it costs for you to print the book, is so expensive that once you subtract the print price away from your potential retail price, you don't even have the ability in the spread to give a bookstore 55% discount, because you either have a negative number or no money at all. So with that being said, a bookstore is like, look, I'm not going to have your book in here and I can't get a sufficient discount. So sometimes that's the reason, particularly if you publish with a POD company online, one of those POD publishers, it's going to be a challenge just because of the wholesale discount. And I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, shoot me a little comment down there and I'll go and explain it a little bit more. I talked about this briefly, but the third reason is that your book isn't returnable. A lot of times when you go to your Lulus or your Ex Libris or whatever, you may have an issue with the book not being returnable. Bookstores all day long want to have the ability to return the book. And for a small time publisher, that can really make or break you. It can be, month 2 and you've gotten a check for the books that are at the bookstore. Then by month 3, they say, listen, we've got 30 books here that didn't sell. We're going to mail them back, or we're just going to mail you the cover back. So then you end up owing the bookstore. Okay? So not to say that you shouldn't want to get in bookstores, but you just have to know and be prepared. Some people think, some authors think, as soon as I get in bookstores, everything's going to be great. That's not necessarily the case, but you definitely need to know what's out there and what can be done. Here's one of the important things. This is reason number 4. There is no bad book policing. What does that mean? It basically means that publishing companies pay a lot of money to have a good product. They're paying for editors, they're paying for graphic design artists, they're paying for marketing, they're paying for all this great stuff to make sure that they try to have a quality product. When you're dealing with self-publishing companies, or especially those online companies, they don't reject anyone because their service is selling you a service. Their service is making money off of you for printing or any other service that you purchase from them. So even if you don't sell any books, that online publishing company has already made their money. So they're not turning anyone down, and your book can sometimes be in the pool of other people who didn't take this publishing thing as seriously, and their product doesn't look as good. So bookstores feel comfortable going with large publishing companies because they know they put in the time, the money, the effort, the marketing, one, to make sure that these books move, and two, to make sure that this is a quality product. Because when their consumers are, returning this book back because it's horrible or it's poor quality, that affects everyone's bottom line. And with self-published authors, that's not always the case. Sometimes, some self-published authors may not be as serious or as professional as you may be. So, it kind of works that way. But there's no bad book policing when it comes to self-publishing. Anybody who wants to publish can. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. So you have to be, conscious of that. Your book isn't easy to obtain. This is number 5. This is the last reason, because I know you probably want me to wrap this video up. Number 5 is, again, your book is not easy to obtain. What does that mean? That means a lot about distribution, okay? Many of the online publishing companies will offer you easy distribution to Amazon.com. And that's great. Amazon.com is one of the largest booksellers, so you definitely want to be on their website. But if you want to be in bookstores, you have to work with a company that has a relationship with the distribution that would allow that to happen. Okay, sometimes you have it that if someone goes into the store, even though your book is not on their shelves, they can order it in your stores. That's a lot of work. Not to say it doesn't happen, but that's a lot of work for your customer to come in, not see your book, and order it. It does happen. But if they can't easily get the book from you or order the book in their bookstore, you've already lost your customers. So if you don't have the right distribution, you can't get into your customers' hands easily. Again, Amazon is a great website to be on, and if people can kind of go there, Barnes & Noble and your other online book retailers, if they can get access to you so people can get to your book, that's great. But I do want you to remember, it's important for you to still market, because Amazon is great, but most people who go to Amazon, they either know the author or they know the topic, or mostly the title. And if you're a new author, you're going to suffer a bit because people don't know you, they don't know your book title, they don't know your name. So there's other marketing techniques you're going to have to employ to kind of help with that. And once you get all those marketing things under wrap, you want to make sure people have access to your book. So your distribution channels are going to be critical. I hope that makes sense, and I hope it was at least slightly helpful, and stay tuned for some more videos. Again, Cinnamon McCann, the Stiletto series, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thanks.